Good morning, friend. It's early. It's going to be a good day today. Josh is working from home, which is kind of a fun treat, and I need to make him some breakfast. So I thought if I'm already making him some breakfast, I'm going to go ahead and make up a bunch of breakfast burritos for the freezer. So we're going to get that going this morning, but before we do that, we are going to get going on to dinner actually. So I'm going to put some potatoes in the Instant Pot, and we are going to get some pork in the Crock Pot. I want to get dinner, breakfast going first thing this morning so that we can focus on the baby's room, because this afternoon the baby furniture is all being delivered and I want to be able to focus on getting all of that furniture organized, the clothes organized. We already washed all the clothes together and got that done. So we're going to be able to put it away and organize it. So we are going to do a cranberry pork in the crock pot. I hardly ever use my crock pot, but I want to start learning to use it more. I think the problem is I just don't have a bunch of recipes that go well in a crock pot. So we are going to start experimenting together. So I have a pork tenderloin here, two actually. I thawed these overnight in the fridge, and we're going to just stick these right here in our crock pot. To the crock pot, we are going to add a few seasonings that I just got out. This is a new recipe to me and it sounds really, really good. I'm going to adapt it just a little bit. The recipe is a cranberry French onion soup recipe, and I'm going to add a few extra ingredients because the recipe only calls for onion soup base, like Lipton onion soup base, which is what this is. This is from Azure. So I'm going to sprinkle that on there. About the equivalent of one packet. I just sprinkled a bunch of pepper, and then I'm going to add some garlic salt. And the recipe only calls for onion soup base and cranberry sauce, but I'm adding the salt and pepper. I'm going to spread that on there. This is our homemade cranberry sauce we made last year. But I want to kind of increase the depth of flavor on this recipe. So I'm going to add a little bit of red pepper flake just to balance the sweetness and the heat. And then to balance the sweetness as well, we're going to add just a few splashes of red wine vinegar. So I think this is going to be really good. We're going to let this go in the crock pot all day, and then we are going to serve this up with some mashed potatoes, and I think maybe we'll do some green beans. So let's get this in the crock pot. I'm going to put this on, maybe we'll start it on low because it's so early in the morning. We'll see how it's going and we'll adjust it. Like I said, I'm kind of new to the crock pot. So let's go ahead and get our potato. Oh my goodness. Friends, let me show you something outside. This is crazy. It's snowing. Oh my goodness, it's magical. One thing I did not realize we were going to get at this house that we don't get at our last house was so much more snow, and I love it. Oh, it's so beautiful outside. This is perfect because we're going to spend the morning in the kitchen, and I love days in the kitchen when it's snowy outside. So another thing I never do is cook mashed potatoes in the Instant Pot, but I want to get everything going early this morning, so we are going to try that and see how well that works out for us. These are our homegrown potatoes, and I went and I picked out the ones that are getting a little bit soft and maybe have some eyes growing on them, so we use these ones up first. I need to scrub these really, really well. I am going to leave the skins on, so I like these like natural fiber scrubby things to really get any sort of dirt or debris off of them. And then once they're washed, I'll just put them right in the Instant Pot liner. I went back and forth whether I was going to do potatoes or a rice pilaf with this dinner. I think rice pilaf would be really good. But these are homegrown potatoes, and I want to make sure I'm using my potatoes before they go bad. So today's for dinner, mashed potatoes, and I want to make enough so that I can make more of those potato cakes. So I'm just thinking ahead a little bit to the next dinner. I didn't get to take any leftover mashed potatoes home from Thanksgiving because we enjoyed them all. So I didn't get to make any of those potato cakes with the leftover mashed potatoes from Thanksgiving. So I want to make sure I have enough of those today. So some of these potatoes have bad spots on them, so I am going to go through and cut any bad spots off, and I'm going to cut them all even size so that they cook evenly in the Instant Pot. So I'll wash them a couple times just to make sure we got all nice and clean. I'm going to put about a cup or two of water in our Instant Pot. We're going to get this in our Instant Pot, and I'm not going to turn this on until later this evening, but now our potatoes are ready to go. I want to get going on the breakfast burritos now so that Josh can have a breakfast. So the first thing I'm going to do is saute up some peppers and onions. So I'm going to get this cast iron going, and I need to get some onions diced. I haven't done that yet. And then after we get the breakfast burritos going, I am going to go ahead and prep our veggie for tonight so that can be ready to go for us as well. I'm going to turn that down just so it doesn't get too hot while I cut up some onions. Breakfast burritos are one of our favorite breakfast freezer meals. We love them. They turn out so well, and you can really put whatever you want in them. So we're going to put onions, peppers, either sausage or bacon, I'm not sure yet, cheese and eggs. I've been saving my eggs up to do this because my chickens aren't laying very much, and I wanted to make sure I had enough eggs for these breakfast burritos. So I have 5 onions in varying sizes here we're going to dice up. I'm going to keep these peels because tomorrow we're going to be making a bunch of chicken broth, so I can put these peels in the chicken broth, and I'm not going to waste these peels. So 5 onions seems like a lot, so I'm only going to do 4, but I do want to make quite a few breakfast burritos. I'm going to get these onion peels in our freezer bag. I'm going to pop these in the freezer, and then tomorrow when I make the broth, we'll pull these out and use them to make broth. You can even use the peels because the peels have flavor and they add a nice color to your broth. Some pepper and salt, and our frozen peppers from our local farmer. The scraps go back in the freezer. The cool thing about those peppers and onions is both those peppers and onions are from the local farmer. They're organic, and I didn't even have to chop the peppers because we already did that step. Now I have some pre-cooked here bacon and sausage, so I don't even have to cook bacon or sausage to put in these freezer meals. We did this earlier, but I do need to get them diced up. I think I'm going to do some that are bacon and some that are sausage, so that we can have a little bit of a variety. Or you know what, maybe I'll just mix the bacon and sausage together. I think I'm going to do that because that will just be easier. I'm chopping this bacon nice and fine so that you can get a bite of bacon in every bite. Now we need to get our eggs scrambled. These eggs are prized possessions around here. And now I'm going to get some cheese out. I have some that I've pre-shredded, but I don't think I quite have enough, so we might need to shred a little bit more cheese. Definitely want cheese in our breakfast burritos. It helps hold everything together. So let's get out a bowl. I think I'm gonna scramble every single egg I have in my house. So if you get an eggshell in your bowl, use the other half of an eggshell to get it out, and it likes to stick to itself, so it makes it the easiest way to get it out. Instead of fishing it out with your fingers, like right there, I just did it again, and picks it right up. I almost forgot that I want to put some hash browns in our breakfast burritos. So I'm gonna give our peppers and onions a stir. They're starting to cook now. And then I'm gonna preheat my oven to 400 degrees. And while that's preheating, I'm gonna go grab some frozen hash browns out of the freezer. I could use my homegrown potatoes and make roast potatoes out of those, but I'm going to take a convenience item, some frozen hash browns, and we're gonna cook these up instead, just to make our life that much easier. So I'm gonna roast these in the oven. I have 3 bags here, and they are 16 ounces each. So I do want to make a bunch of these breakfast burritos. Last time I made them, I only made 10, and we went through them so quickly. They're so delicious. So I'm going to put these frozen potatoes on this cookie sheet. We want to flavor them up, so I'm going to add a little bit of oil. This is going to help crisp them in the oven. Some pepper, salt, some garlic, and some smoked paprika just for a little color and flavor. Now I'm going to mix all this together. We're going to get these potatoes in the oven, and we're going to let those roast. And you all know that I've said I think my oven runs hot. Well, now I am the proud owner of an oven thermometer, so we're going to be able to see if it does run hot or not. These peppers and onions are coming together nicely. I may have cooked a little too many of them, but we will not let them go to waste if I did. We're going to come back to our egg mixture. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper to this. I don't like adding salt to eggs. I feel like eggs get salty very easily. But I am going to add a little bit of milk, and we're going to whisk this together. My peppers and onions are done, so I'm going to add the bacon to this. And I'm also going to go ahead and add to the peppers and onions some of our pre-cooked sausage, so that it can kind of just thaw and be easier to work with in the burritos. So I'm going to let that just kind of thaw and cool. It'll help cool the peppers and onions down too. And then in here we have butter and oil. And we're going to cook our eggs in this, I'm spilling stuff, in this pan. I'm not the best at cooking eggs. I think I'm going to turn that down a little bit. Oh, they're not sticking, which is nice. I don't own any Teflon. I've considered getting it just to cook eggs because I've not mastered cooking eggs in a cast iron or in a stainless steel pot. I have also seen those ceramic pans go around, and I've considered that for eggs too, but I don't know how well they handle like non-stick for eggs. So if you guys have any experience with that, let me know. And I want to show you how much snow we have gotten in the last 20 minutes. It's only been about 20 minutes since I showed you last. This is such a beautiful surprise to me because I love snow. I love it. And we are just high enough that I think we're going to get a lot more snow up here. And I'm really excited about that. We have cars that can drive in the snow. And once we get off our hill, I think it won't be an issue. But as long as we can get off the hill, the snow is going to be something that's going to be fun to be able to enjoy up here. So these are already seasoned with pepper, so I don't need to season them with salt. Everything else has enough salt in it. While these cook, I want to get some more cheese grated. I have quite a bit already grated, but I don't think I have enough to get through this project I want to get through, and then I would like to have a little bit extra in the fridge for other projects later. This is some sharp white cheddar cheese, but you could use whatever kind of cheese you have on hand. We got our cheese shredded up. That's way more than we need, but I wanted extra for later. Our eggs are done. I went ahead and turned them off. I wanted to scramble them to a soft scramble because we will rewarm them up when we microwave our breakfast burritos. Our sausage, bacon, onion, pepper mixture is done. We're just letting this cool a little bit. And I just added one more bag of potatoes to this. I turned the temperature up because I didn't think I had quite enough eggs to fill all the breakfast burritos I want to make. These are my favorite tortillas to make breakfast burritos out of. They reheat really, really well. These are whole wheat organic tortillas I got from Azure Standard, and I have 3 packages out here. I'm hoping to have enough filling to fill all 3 of these. The crib and dresser are here. The potatoes aren't quite done, but what I'm gonna do is just turn the oven off so that I don't forget about them, or if I forget about them, they'll be okay. And let's look at the thermometer. I have the oven set to 450 degrees, and my little thermometer right here says that it's 400 degrees, about 410 in there. So my suspicions of my oven running hot are completely wrong. It runs cool apparently, but I do have the thermometer toward the front of the oven, so maybe I should try putting it kind of toward the back or middle and see if that's a more accurate representation on what the temperature is. So we're gonna take a break on this, and we're gonna get the baby furniture set up. So this is where they are going to set it all up. We don't have to do anything. All of our components are now done. So we're gonna get the potatoes out and mix all this together. I'm gonna mix everything in this one pan so we don't make any more dishes than we need to. We're gonna take our potatoes, I wish you could smell it in here. It smells fantastic. Josh is super hungry. So am I. You can really put in here whatever you want. Any kind of vegetables. Leave the eggs out if you don't like eggs. Whatever kind of cheese you like. No potatoes. You could do sweet potatoes. That would be really good. Get this all combined. I want to give this filling mixture a taste test. It smells incredible. That is so good. I really like that I put both sausage and bacon in that. Absolutely delicious. The salt and pepper is on point. Doesn't need any seasoning adjustments. I'm gonna take my tortillas and I'm gonna put just a few in the microwave for just a minute to soften them up, to make it a little bit easier to roll them out. I wanna do this in a couple phases just so that I don't microwave them all and then them get cold again. These were previously frozen, but they've thawed nicely. And then we're gonna make an assembly line. I wiped these counters down so that I can go ahead and just make a bunch of breakfast burritos all at one time. And this makes it go a whole lot faster. Just a smidgen over a half cup per tortilla. I never know exactly how much filling is gonna fill the amount of tortillas I have. Now we're gonna take our cheese and sprinkle this on the top. So how I roll these is I take them and I fold them up and then I fold it over. I take these little corners, I tuck those in, and then I roll it up like a nice burrito. And I keep it seam side down so that they don't unroll. you think they might need a little bit more filling, you can add a little bit more. So Josh is ready for a breakfast burrito. So why don't you pop this in the microwave for maybe 45 seconds to a minute?
Smells so good in here.
Good. So to prepare these for the freezer, I just take a piece of saran wrap and then I wrap them up. Do you want 1 or 2 breakfast burritos, Josh?
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh, just 1.
Okay. So we have found the best way to reheat these is if you thaw them first. You can cook them from frozen, but the tortilla does warm up a little bit better if you thaw them. So if you put them in the refrigerator overnight, they'll thaw completely. And then we have found in our microwave, or at least in our last microwave, you're fine, Josh.
There's no way to stop the noise.
It's fine. They know you live here. And in our last, what was it, a minute and a half, I think, was exactly perfect to reheat these.
I don't know.
You don't remember? But it does take a little bit longer if they are frozen. So if we want to eat them, what I use, and they last in the fridge for a few days. So if you want them for a few days, you can just take a couple out of the freezer and have them ready to go. These are so good. If you make these, you will want them all the time because they are absolutely delicious. So I just wrap them in a little bit of saran wrap, and you can put them in a freezer Ziploc bag if you want. But what I like to do to save on a Ziploc bag is I take the bag the tortillas came in and I reuse this bag, and I'm gonna freeze them in this so that they do have 2 layers to protect them against the freezer. But these are so good, we will go through them relatively quickly. So we're just gonna keep going. I just warmed up a few more tortillas and we'll get them all wrapped up. This one looks a little bit sad, this little tortilla, but that's okay. So this tortilla that I thought was a little bit silly just ripped in half, so this is the one I'm gonna have for breakfast. We're about halfway done rolling those burritos, and I'm gonna take a break and enjoy my breakfast. I just microwaved it for a minute and this feels perfect to me. I'm going to top it with a little hot sauce, sit down, enjoy this, then we'll be back to finish up our kitchen projects. What do you think of the breakfast burrito?
Really good.
Really good?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very savory, very well balanced. The peppers are really nice.
That's good because I'm making probably 30 of them.
I really like those tortillas too. They heat up nicely. They have some, what's a good word for it?
Chew?
There's some chew, yeah. They're not like crumbly or anything.
No.
They've got some elasticity.
Yeah. Yeah, those are my favorite tortillas to make breakfast burritos out of. I can link them down below because I do get those from Azure Standard. But I'm gonna go sit down and enjoy my breakfast. I just warmed it up and then we'll be back to finish all these kitchen shenanigans. Breakfast was delicious, and now we have a beautiful crib and a beautiful dresser / changing table. We went with this one because the changing table part, this wooden piece, comes off so that when baby gets older, this is just going to be a regular piece of furniture, a dresser. The screws are on the back side of that changing table, so you won't see any holes or anything on the top. And then we went with this crib too because the back is actually a headboard for a twin size bed. So once this is done being a crib, we can turn it into a twin size bed, so it'll grow with the baby. So we thought it would be a good investment. So now we're gonna finish our kitchen shenanigans. So we have 13 breakfast burritos plus 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We got 29 breakfast burritos. Awesome, ready for the freezer. In the freezer, these go. While we're in the kitchen, I'm gonna get the vegetable going for dinner tonight as well. I have some pre-washed, ready to go green beans that I got at Trader Joe's the other day. I'm gonna just stick these are beautiful looking green beans, in my cast iron with a pat of butter. And when it comes to dinner, all I'm gonna do is turn this on and let them cook. Now we have quite a few things going for us. I'm gonna go hang out in the baby's room and get some things organized while all the rest of the dinner kind of just sits here and waits for me. It's getting close to dinner time. I've been able to relax all afternoon. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the Instapot going. We are going to put it on manual for, I think, 15 minutes. We'll start with that. This is all done. Our pork, I put it on keep warm. Oh my goodness, it smells fantastic. I'm excited to give this a try. And our green beans, I'll wait until our mashed potatoes are done. So we're just gonna relax a little bit. I'm gonna let the Instapot go. I have to let this chicken and turkey cool so that I can pull the meat off the bones. And we'll be back when we get the mashed potatoes made up. Our mashed potatoes are done. I let them do a natural release for about 30 minutes. I've only ever cooked potatoes in the Instant Pot one other time, so I'm not really sure exactly what I'm doing, but people seem to, oh yeah, they're nice and soft. They're just breaking apart. So we need to strain the water out. This is my favorite straining tool. I had never used one of these till I met Josh. It's like a half round thing. You just sit on the side of your bowl and you can strain things like this. And it's a lot less to wash in the dishwasher than a whole colander. Don't want to lose that potato. Oh, you know what I should do? What I should do before we make these mashed potatoes? I'm going to use this lid to help steam them. I'm just going to add a little bit of water. And we're going to get this going on high. We'll steam them. I'll let the water evaporate. I have over here a 30-quart stock pot of broth with our chicken bones and turkey bones. So we need to finish off flavoring our mashed potatoes. I did not add any salt when I cooked these. Normally when I boil potatoes, I add salt to the water, but the Instant Pot kind of steams them. So we're gonna add just some salt, pepper, and then I'm gonna add a new thing I've never added to my mashed potatoes before, but this is that roasted garlic that we made, the confit garlic. I'm gonna add half this jar, the rest of it, and there's a little bit of olive oil in there. We'll just add that to the mashed potatoes. That'll add some really good flavor. A lot of you ask about these little wooden spoons. I can link them down below. I love these little spoons. I use them almost every day. And then we're gonna add a few more ingredients. A couple tablespoons of butter. That's probably about a quarter cup actually. Some half and half. And our freeze-dried Parmesan cheese. This is one of my favorite things I freeze-dried. If you've never put Parmesan cheese in your mashed potatoes, it's so good. And now we mash them up. Now we need to give these potatoes a taste test. Josh and I generally don't eat very many mashed potatoes, but when you grow 150 pounds of potatoes, you gotta go through them, and my new favorite thing are potato cakes. So I made way more than we need for dinner and leftovers to go with our pork because I wanna make potato cakes again. Those are good. They need some more salt, and they taste a little dry. We're gonna put a little bit more salt and some more cream. We'll mix that in and we'll try it. You could use a a mixer, but I like a little bit of chunk with my mashed potatoes. Let me get a new spoon and we'll give this another try. That's what it needed. Perfect, delicious, Parmesan-y, garlicky greatness. So I'm gonna stick this back in the Instant Pot with the lid on it just so that it stays warm. And then we need to give our pork a taste test because I have no idea if this pork is any good or not. It smells fantastic. Josh came in and was like, what is that smell? Oh my goodness, I think that vinegar was a good choice. All right, so let's see how tender this is. Oh yeah, it's falling apart. So I kind of wanted to pull it apart just a little bit so that that cranberry sauce, because the cranberry sauce has just been sitting on the top of those pork loins. I'm gonna cut them too. I've never cooked a pork loin like this. I always cook a pork loin on the grill. So this is totally new to me. I don't know if I should be cutting in my crock pot. Probably not. Probably not the best idea. I'm gonna kind of just shred this pork. I didn't add any moisture to this or liquid because that's the one thing about the crock pot I find is that it just gets too liquidy. So I just let the meat kind of, you know, make its own juices. Now let's give this a taste test. I'm a little nervous about it because this is quite a bit of pork if we don't like it. But I can adjust the seasonings at this point if I need to. It's a little bit on the salty side. Let's see if I can doctor this up a little bit. I'm going to add the rest of our cranberry sauce. I didn't quite add a whole jar, and it said to add a whole jar. I didn't necessarily take into account how salty the, what's it called? The Lipton soup mix, or the, I guess it's not Lipton because it's a different brand, but let's give this a taste test now with a little bit more cranberry sauce. That is so good. Still a little bit on the salty side. So I think with the mashed potatoes and this and the green beans, I'm not going to salt the green beans hardly at all. It'll be a good balance. And then I might have to, because this is a lot of pork, we'll probably eat this for dinner. I'll have a couple leftovers, and then I'll have to repurpose some of this meat because I think this will be a little too much meat just to eat like this without making it into something else. Maybe like this could be a good pork sandwich. Or I could put this on pizza or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So we already put butter in this, so we're just waiting for them to cook all the way through. That water evaporated. I like to get a little bit of color on my green beans. I haven't peppered them. I'm not going to add any salt because there is salt in the butter. I think these are done. Oh yeah, perfect. They're still green, but they have a little bit of color on them, which is just how we like them. That looks so yummy. I'm gonna plate up Josh's dinner, and my dinner, I guess. I'm gonna put a little bit of mashed potatoes on the bottom. We're gonna add a few green beans and top it with some pork. I think I'm gonna put well, there's not very much juices in here, but that's dinner. I think that turned out pretty well. I'm gonna take the green beans off the heat, and then we'll have Josh come give this a taste test. I will tell him to give us his honest review because it is a new recipe, and then I'll tell him what my thoughts are. Oh, while we're waiting for him, let me show you what I just took out of the freeze dryer. I just took out cilantro from the freeze dryer, so I gotta get these jarred up. This is my absolute favorite herb so far that I freeze dried. I purchased 10 bunches of cilantro last time I went to the store to freeze dry. I can't find my canning funnel right now, so I'm just gonna slowly put this into this jar. Josh, your dinner's right there. So Josh is gonna give it a taste test while I fill this jar.
Oh wow, this isn't what I was expecting visually.
Oh really? What were you expecting?
I don't know. Like
Did I
slices of pork. I'm not sure.
Oh, like a pork chop?
Yeah.
Did I tell you what we were having for dinner? I don't know.
I saw pork fine.
Oh.
That's about the only clue I had.
So it's cranberry pork chops, or cranberry pork loin with green beans and Parmesan mashed potatoes.
Mmm. That's really good.
You like it?
Yeah, the sweetness of the meat is kind of a fun, spicy little contrast
Now,
to the potatoes. It's really good.
I thought the meat was a little bit too salty, so I added a little bit more cranberry sauce at the end. So why don't you just taste the meat without... Josh and I both like to have like the meat and the potatoes and everything kind of mixed together. So sometimes it helps balance if you over salt something. So I'm having him just taste the meat.
Yeah, my impression wasn't that it was too salty.
Oh good.
I don't
Good,
think it's too salty at all. It's nice and moist,
Yeah.
juicy
Good.
even.
Awesome.
It's very good. Thanks,
Well,
Son.
I'm gonna go dish up after I finish putting this cilantro away, I'm gonna dish up myself some dinner. Do you want to, and then Josh and I will sit down and we'll enjoy a dinner together. I just wanna say thank you for taking time out of your day to spend time with me as we just had fun in the kitchen. If you enjoyed this video, I can pop a couple other videos here you can go enjoy between now and my next upload. And I can't wait to see you next time. Bye, friend.